Welcome back to the news on Mr. Tien channel. Tropical Storm Eric is about to become Hurricane Eric with big impacts on Mexico and big impacts through parts of Guatemala and El Salvador. The rain in much of Central America, and I want to show you how much of this rain will try to lift up to the north, the parts of Arizona, Texas, New Mexico. That's going to kind of feed right through Mexico, but it's this spot here that will become a hurricane. So we're going to track this. I'm going to show you the winds inside of this, how much rain, and then new tropical waves that will be moving through parts of the Caribbean, plus the dust and the severe weather back toward parts of the U.S. But it's this spot in here just starting to get organized off the coast of Guatemala and El Salvador. There's some of the rain out ahead of it back toward the Bay of Campeche that will be lifting up to the north. This will be a strong system. Winds right now at about 60 kilometers an hour. Or rather 80 kilometers an hour, but it's going to push 100 mile per hour with the winds eventually, or 160 kilometers an hour. So this is going to be a powerful system as it drives into Mexico. Elsewhere, there's been some spotty showers. Barbados, look at some of the rain. Southern coast of Mexico, we're talking about anywhere from 250 to about 300 millimeters of rain, 10, 12 inches of rain, 14 inches of rain in some spots sliding in. But then we look back toward parts of Guatemala. Even as we work our way into El Salvador, I'll expand out all of these views in just a second. We're going to get some spots around 100 to 150 millimeters of rain. And even watching Belize, where we have been drier than typical last month into early this month, just on the backside of that, we're going to get some spots that give us 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain for maybe 5 inches of rain in spots over the next few days. This is going to be a hurricane, and it is going to be a huge rainmaker. So this is going to scrape the southern coast and then eventually make landfall of Mexico. Even longer. It will be a longer duration to rain event, and then the winds will be increasing. So 2 days of strengthening into a hurricane before it makes landfall with very strong winds. So here's the core of the system, but on the backside, just throwing this rain into Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, Costa Rica, and Panama. And then we'll see this surging into Mexico. Spotty showers and storms. How about Jamaica yesterday? We had a couple really strong ones with gusty winds and spots, hit or miss. And Barbados as we go throughout the day. So still across the Caribbean, if you get a storm, it could be strong because there's so much heat energy out there. Now this is by tomorrow will be Eric. Will turn into a hurricane. You can see it here, very well-defined system. Strong winds hitting the coast. We'll see those tropical storm to hurricane conditions along the coast of Guatemala and moving into Mexico. Backside still throwing in that rain to Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and then watching new tropical waves sliding into the eastern Caribbean. Let's get into a Thursday here now. Early to midday on Thursday, this will be making landfall right into Mexico. So through the day on the southern coast of Mexico, the rain out ahead of it. See how far north some of that rain gets. Here's Texas. You can see the rain working in. The hurricane conditions much of Thursday. Southern coast of Mexico still on the backside. There's that persistent flow throwing that rain in place. Honduras, Nicaragua, Belize still in Guatemala and El Salvador. And there's some new tropical waves popping up near Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and Grenada. You see how active it is? Not seeing development here, but again, watching Eric and what's left of Eric, the remnants. Look how they start to squeak to the north, and they start to climb up toward parts of New Mexico, Texas, Arizona. Watching that, another area to watch back behind Eric, and then watching this here building again near Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, mainly south, more active weather, so we could be seeing another flood threat for parts of Trinidad, watching Grenada, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and Guyana. And then by Monday, you see some of that moisture pulling into parts of Texas with the remnants of Eric still wet throughout much of Mexico. Heavy, heavy rain throughout parts of Central America, and there's even more rain by early next week. This we'll watch closely, not necessarily for development, but the brighter colors tell me we could get some heavier rain, so giving you the heads up. Thank you for sharing this information across Trinidad. While the rain chance overall has been down a little bit, we're going to see it going up again in that flood threat on the horizon as this develops that strong flow through the Caribbean, just piling up the rain in parts of Central America as we work forward. You could see, or by the way, this flow coming into Texas, that kind of very warm flow that's been really heating up around that area of high pressure with that heat dome that has been in place. Now by tomorrow, we're going to see those tropical storm to hurricane conditions starting to work in late in the day near the coast of Guatemala and Mexico. So right as this moves inland, it will really shift into that mudslide and flooding potential, since the winds will, of course, get knocked down by the terrain as that works in. Now, elsewhere, there's multiple tropical waves out there coming off the coast of Africa. They're going to fight off a lot of dust and dry air, but as they hang together somewhat, that is just going to increase the chance of rain back through the Caribbean, Puerto Rico. We have some of the dust around U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis. We've had some of that dust surging all the way back toward Jamaica. Even within some thunderstorms, we see some of that dust getting kicked around. And then as we work our way into this weekend, there's some of the dust getting pulled all the way over toward Louisiana, and another surge of dust that will be coming off by this weekend, coming off the coast of Africa. Now that severe weather threat back toward parts of the USA, a lot of tornadoes around Minnesota yesterday. Again, still watching this pocket in here, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, swinging all the way back toward parts of the plains and Colorado with that tornado threat. Watching this area here that's going to slide into the Atlantic region of Canada with that chance of some showers, few spotty showers possible tomorrow, but there's that severe weather threat even over toward the Great Lakes. Watching over toward Winnipeg, too, with that chance of some bigger storms, isolated tornado threat. Still watching that flood threat. Again, the horrific flooding in West Virginia. We're going to see more rain that will be sliding in, especially by Thursday, New England, Mid-Atlantic. Watching out for some stronger storms. And at this point, keeping an eye on that rain, how it starts to feed in. Watching this toward New Mexico, parts of Texas. We'll see some of that rain feeding in from the remnants of what will become Hurricane Eric. Very dangerous stuff, no doubt. This is by Thursday with that moving in. But things are going to be a little bit choppier too. Elevated Jamaica, south side, and then swinging all the way back through Central America. Just as these tropical waves work in, we'll see the seas building, Central and Western Caribbean. Now, spotty showers and storms, Bahamas, Cuba, kind of hit or miss Florida, hit or miss storms. So very hot as well. In between, there'll be a couple thunderstorms around. Same thing, Cayman Islands and Jamaica. Here's Jamaica, and you see the heavy rain just back toward the southwest. As we work our way towards Central America, this is where we have some more of the dust. Not to say we can't catch a shower or two, Haiti, the DR, Puerto Rico. But this is where we have more of that dust and dry air, Montserrat back through Saba, Antigua, and Barbuda. But some spotty showers. We had a couple yesterday around Barbados and St. Lucia. Flood threat starts to get higher this weekend and next week in the southeastern Caribbean, including Guyana and Suriname, where the rain chances dropped off for some. That big moisture feed will eventually be moving in. But this is where it is just a mess, where we're going to have some totals over 150 millimeters of rain, over 6 inches of rain for 3-day totals, rounds and rounds of it, and I see this right into next week. Of course, this is with Eric. This core will work in, but we're still going to see more and more rain for parts of Central America. It is going to persist. Most of the severe weather would be just to the north of the extreme southern U.S. So an isolated shower storm. Again, in Jamaica, a lot of us are dry, some of us dusty. Cayman Islands, we have a 20 to 30% chance, and you see by the end of the week how it starts to build. All right, Trinidad by Thursday, we're up to 50% chance spotty showers possible. The next couple of days, rain chance stays low. The heat continues to build in. But Belize, you see the rain chance, it has shifted up, and it is going to be sticking around to 60% chance with us. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, rain chance holding at about 20%. There's been a couple showers around for some of us the last few days. Guyana, 50% chance today, but building by the end of the week, and it will be building as well through the end of the week as we swing back through Suriname. Isolated to scattered showers and storms back through Cuba, monitoring that flood threat, Costa Rica and Panama. Nicaragua, watching out for dangerous rivers and mudslides, watching out for those rivers that are only going to get more dangerous. Parts of Honduras, rain chance staying at 70%, monitoring the flooding, and watching out right along the coast on the Pacific side of Guatemala. Tropical storm to near hurricane conditions at times, especially as we work our way over the next couple of days. Very, very dangerous flooding that will be around. And then you see here across Mexico City is what's left of Eric, shifts to the north. That rain chance is going up. They'll be flooding in and around Mexico City later this week. Yucatan Peninsula, just a 30 to 40% chance, 40 to 50% chance in northern Colombia, 40 to 50% chance, but building by the end of the week in northern Venezuela. And rain chances are staying generally limited as we work our way back through Bermuda. So thank you. Have a good day ahead.